Welcome to Reformation Revival Now. We're talking about witchcraft and witchcraft foundation being really manipulation. Not necessarily the lady with the pointed hat and the ratty hair and flying on a broom. We associate that with witchcraft. Now let me share with you. There is a side of witchcraft that deals with the supernatural, that deals with the occult, that deals with incantations and spells. I will cover that, but I won't spend a lot of time with that because that's not the most prominent witchcraft. And you need to understand that behind the spirit of witchcraft are demon forces so that you can kind of get an idea of how witchcraft works in its basic form. Let me take you once more, as I always do. I'm going to take you to Genesis 1, 2, and 3. You know it's coming. So Satan says, hath God said? Ooh, okay. Did God say that you should eat every tree of the garden? So he's coming with a little irony, a little bend there. Oh, you should not die. Well, what is Satan doing? Satan is trying to create a web to get Eve to take that fruit. Now listen. Satan is not making Eve and Adam eat the fruit. Satan is using craft, witchcraft, to basically cause them to feel like this is the best thing going for me. What a great idea. Forget the fact that God said no. This is a great idea. I'll go ahead and take this. This is Satan. This is his witchcraft foundation. And he's been doing it for ages. Running the same old game. Making you think it was such a great idea. And that the thought came from yours. You just happened to stumble upon this guy that thinks similarly to how you think. Wow, we're on the same wavelength. No, you're getting ready to get manipulated and come into a great crisis or a great mess, and you didn't know that it was the devil in the form of a disguise that's unique to you. Now, the God of this world, Satan, used the serpent at that time, but for you, it could be something else. For you, it could be a job allurement. For others, it could be a sexual allurement. Oh, did you see this guy? He had muscles. Oh, I just want him. Now, let me go ahead and work my magic to get in bed with him. I'm going to tell you, I've watched this stuff happen. I've watched a man or male or female fasten their eyes upon a particular person they want, and they start into their deceptive moves to be able to get them. And you need to understand that these are the basic things of witchcraft. Hocus pocus is definitely an area. I hope I can cover it. But it's still not a basic area. The Genesis account shows you the basic area that's not hocus pocus. Now, it was hocus pocus and that Satan came and entered that serpent. That part was hocus pocus. But the part, remember, Adam and Eve had no fear. So they weren't afraid of animals talking or anything like that. They didn't have any fear. But Satan came in the power of persuasion and suggestion with a little irony on it, and basically manipulated Eve to be able to make this move. And of course, she gave it to her husband. Now, I go over the Genesis fall a lot, and you probably have noticed that. There's a reason for it, because you need to see Satan's operations in the basics. So manipulation, throwing a spin, which a lot of times are newspapers and magazines. You know, you could go to a drugstore and see all the tabloids. Man, they'll have you thinking that Bigfoot was seen in a tux, sitting at the Apollo. And I mean, people will pick up. Did you hear that Bigfoot was at the Apollo with the tux? Do you know somebody will pick that up and read it? We just make the titling great, and we'll just show these false pictures and see Bigfoot there with sunglasses on, big and heavy. He's got the tux on, got his legs crossed, listening to the new groove coming on the stage there. Now, I know I'm being extreme, but I'm letting you know these things happen every day. The news and the media and these things Satan uses, but it's not just news media. Some of you out there know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys know. Hey, I want my wife to do this, so I'm going to give her some money so she can go out shopping. And then when she goes out and she gets everything she wants to get, okay, I'll just slip under her nose that I'm going to join this little group. And she just says, yes, oh, honey, whatever you want to do, join it. Thank you so much. But this little group's going to take you away from the family and away from her. She said yes, but you used her shopping, her desire for shopping, so that she would just say yes to anything you said because you just gave her this huge bunch of money. And now she's shopping and she'll say yes to anything. And she had not time to think about what you were asking her. But all of a sudden you're away in this secret society, away from your family. And she said yes. And now she says, I don't have a husband anymore because he's gone all the time. But he ran it by you by putting money in your pocketbook and saying, get anything you want, anything you want. And of course you're going like, yeah, I'm making these things up as I go. But I'm letting you know, this is how manipulation works. Anytime I want something and I'm going to twist the psychological or natural circumstances or intellectual circumstances or legal circumstances, I'm going to twist it to get a desired end. I'm functioning in the office and the purpose of a witch. I might not be using hocus pocus, but I have the same motive. You can always tell somebody that has a problem with witchcraft. Say no to them. If you say no to them, they will get very upset. These are key elements to people that fall prey to witchcraft. Anytime a person gets totally upset, whenever they don't have their way, that person is very vulnerable and very much is probably already operating in witchcraft. Anytime a person gets totally distraught, if they can't have their way, it's got to be my way or the highway. Whenever you see that, understand that person is bound up in a spirit of witchcraft. You got to have your way. God's love let us fall into sin because we chose to do that. God could have blocked it, but God, by his nature, is not a manipulator. He had already given the commandment and gave you the freedom and expect you to make the right choice. So God doesn't use manipulation. He already gave a commandment. Don't do this. The day you do this, you should surely die. That's not how Satan works. Satan's going to twist your arm and tell you what a good deal sin's going to give you. Sin's going to give you the deal of a lifetime. Sin's going to give you everything. And then after you take the sin or do the sin, then the disease happens. Then the consequence takes place. And you say, God, why did you let me go into this? What do you mean, God, why did you let me go into this? You fell for it. You fell for it. Now understand, it doesn't mean that God doesn't want you to have good things. You just need to understand that God loves you. And with that love, he always wants the best for you. So you don't have to grab and growl. You should seek God and find out what his plan is for your life. God is not trying to grant you broken dreams. He wants you to fulfill your dreams. He wants you to fulfill that which he made you for. But you don't take the method of witchcraft. You don't take that method and do it. And so the first thing I say to you, deal with psychological witchcraft, because the psychological side of witchcraft is still the primary side of witchcraft. No hocus pocus involved yet. Just dealing with the power of evil suggestion to get an end. I'm going to tell this, I'm going to say this particular information to this person. This person's going to get mad when they hear the information. And while they're doing this, I'll take this from this person. I've seen it all the time. I'm going to give you this piece of gossip. When you hear it, you're going to be enraged at this person. And then that person is laying you out to the dogs. And the person's going like, what's going on here? That person really wanted to get revenge on that person through your anger. So shared gossip so that you would jump all over that person and go after that person. And that other person sit back watching you getting his enemy. Do you understand that goes on every day? If people operate in a spirit of witchcraft and manipulation all the time and they don't even think about it. I tell you, you need to have this message. I tell you right now, you need to listen to what I'm saying, because a lot of you who are Christians are operating in a spirit of witchcraft, and God can't bless your life because everything you do got an angle. You don't need to have an angle. You need to love people, not looking for anything in return. You don't have to get something. Why don't you give something, looking for nothing in return? And some of you who are ministers, you're telling everybody to send you some sort of offering and bless this miracle ministry. If your ministry is worth saving or worth being put forth or supported, God will support it. You don't have to manipulate people and tell them what they're going to get if they sow into your ministry. That's witchcraft. You want to give people the opportunity to give to a good ministry, of course. But you don't have to tell them that's going to get rewards. The only reward you should tell them is let God bless them for doing what he says. In fact, tell them, look, I know you're not going to get anything out of it, but you'll be helping people get the gospel. I'd rather have a person tell me you're going to take a loss, but it'll go for God's work, than telling somebody they're going to get a super blessing if they bless this ministry. Now I've tainted the gospel and saying the gospel needs my money. The gospel don't need my money. The gospel wants my heart and wants my participation. That can be done in the form of a financial offering, but God don't need it. Okay, and there are many ministers that use this technique. Anyway, I've run out of time again. I want to begin to unmask this spirit of witchcraft, which most people walk in and don't even think it. And I'm going to tell you right now, as I said in the other video, husbands and wives, I want you to examine how you're operating with your spouses and how you're operating with your children. Because if you're operating with your children and your spouses in witchcraft, they can't love the way God wants them to love, because you got them twisted around your finger and the love of God can't flow. And you wonder why they don't have love in their heart? It's because you operating like a witch. Stop manipulating your wife. Stop manipulating your husband. Stop manipulating your children. Stop. And let the love of God compel you and move you. Anyway, we're going to come back and we're going to take on this some more. All right. Love up.